Hello and welcome to episode 13 of All Five Rounds. I am your co-host, Ty O'Keefe, joined as always by my esteemed co-host, Daren Loucks, longtime friend. And it's been a while. We've been away. We're both very excited to get back. We got a lot to talk about, including the fallout from UFC Moncton, Mike Perry's latest headline-grabbing maneuver, if you want to call it that, Khabib Nurmagomedov's journey along this championship line since he's kind of solidified himself as the lightweight king. And, of course, we have to talk about Ben Askren. So, Daren, obviously, we'll start with UFC Moncton because we got kind of a time-sensitive thing there. Anthony Smith looked very good, kind of got through some tough moments to earn that submission victory over Ozdemir. Now, the number one question, without fail, is, A, does he deserve a shot at the Gustafsson-Jones winner?
Gustafsson-Jones winner, eh? Well, I think the UFC's plan, as long as the winner is John Jones, I think they're going to fight Daniel Cormier. So I would say, does he get a shot at the loser, which could be Gustafsson? I think he does. I don't know though. I don't know if they would just say him and John Jones go at it and to see who gets a shot at the title. I think John.
You really don't think he'll get the winner of John Jones Gustafsson? You really don't think he's worthy of that?
I don't think he's on their level, to be honest.
Really?
I don't think he's on either of their level.
And so
all three of them.
You think Cormier is going to have time before he retires to fight the winner of Gustafsson-Jones?
Yeah, I don't see it any other way. I think
really
Cormier. Yeah, I mean,
shocking, brother.
I'm just saying, like, I just think those three guys are super elite. That Cormier, Gustafsson, John Jones, they're elite and proven. I don't know, yeah. Anthony Smith, he's gone through some guys, but
it's like Cormier said, there's levels to this game.
That's right.
That's a good point. And those three are clearly on another level. It's just, man, it's like if Cormier doesn't ever fight at light heavyweight again, which is kind of what people are saying, and he ends up fighting Lewis and then Lesnar and he's out the door, say let's take Cormier out of the equation. Does that change it and make Anthony Smith a viable title threat?
If Cormier's not in the mix, put it this way. Him and John Jones fight right now. You haven't seen John Jones fight. Him and John Jones fight. Who do you think's winning that fight?
Okay, well, are you saying with the history they have of the two previous fights or no history? Like they've never fought ever before and they're fighting for the first time now? Is that what you're saying? Hypothetically?
No, like, okay, put it this way. If John Jones fights Daniel Cormier, I think we know who's going to win that fight.
Oh, yeah.
And if John Jones fights Anthony Smith, who do you think is going to win that fight?
Okay, exactly. It's not about that, though. We've seen the UFC feed champions, whoever's next in line, right? Ozdemir had no business being in the octagon with Daniel Cormier, and he paid the price for it, right? Yeah. So I'm just based on that. But you're right. And I tell you what, if Jones Cormier were to fight again, I'm not watching it because I already know what's going to happen. I'm not dropping $70 on that. No effing way. No. I'm boycotting it. So you're right. I don't care. You're right. But Ozdemir and many others have been just shot up the ladder in different divisions, whether they are worthy of that or not, just because they're the next guy in line. And that's simply what I'm basing my argument about Anthony Smith on.
Well, I hope for Anthony Smith's sake, he doesn't get shoved up the line, because if he fights Cormier, he's in for a one-sided beating, like that he won't get off his back. If he fights Gustafsson, I think he'll get pecked away at. And if he fights John Jones, he'll lose any way John wants to beat him. So,
and in any fight except for probably the Gustafsson fight, he'll be comforted by falling onto a duffel bag of money. So, yeah. I mean, maybe it's that. But like he said, he's been a busy guy this year. He fought Thiago Santos, and he lost that middleweight bout. And then he won his light heavyweight debut against Rashad Evans. Then he beat Shogun. And that Shogun Evans stuff, that was like less than 6 weeks apart. And then he just fought again here. Mm-hmm. He's busy, and he just, like you're saying, he just wants to go and be a dad. And that you gotta, you can't knock a guy for doing that. He's earned the right. So we're just gonna see how it plays out. Anyways, moving on. Now, Artem Lobov A lot of people say he's only in the UFC because of McGregor, and you could argue because of what happened with Ed, on the Ultimate Fighter, got the wild card from McGregor when he was the coach. Da 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 da. That's probably true. He's only UFC because of Conor McGregor, but he has fought some guys. He has gone the distance. He hasn't looked like it. He's not CM Punk. Do you think after this loss to Michael Johnson, he needs to get cut?
He should. I mean, how many people in the UFC are 14? We're 14 and 14 going into this.
Heartless.
Yeah, dude. I honestly, I was watching that, and when his record came up, and I went 14-14 and one no contest, I'm going like, how the hell are you still in the UFC? Oh wait, oh yeah, that's right. I get it.
He did go the
Okay,
distance with Cub Swanson and Michael Johnson. I mean, they couldn't finish him.
man. If you can take a beating by going the distance, that doesn't mean. You know what? I've seen him.
Whatever.
He's a good fighter. I mean, don't get me wrong. He can fight, but I just don't think he's UFC material fighter.
My Octagon co-host Kristen King says the same thing that you're saying right now. She said, not the UFC, maybe Bellator, maybe
Sure.
the Pro Fight League, maybe M1. Yeah. I know he's fought in M1 before, I think, in the past. So, he's going to be around. And as we've seen, Conor McGregor's crew doesn't need to be in the UFC to be relevant. Dylan Dennis has one pro fight under the Bellator banner, and that's it. And he's been in the headlines forever. Charlie Ward hasn't fought very much. He's never fought in the UFC. So whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right, though. We got to draw standards somewhere, right? Like, we got to draw a line. This is the elite. Supposed to be.
UFC's best of the best, man. Supposed to be the best of the best, right, brother?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. So I can't say I completely disagree. It's just, I don't know. He's kind of turned into a fan favorite, for a few reasons. So, whatever. But thank God with this day and age, no matter where he goes, we're going to still be hearing about him. So it's kind of an irrelevant topic, really, because that's what it's about, right? It's about exposure. It's about whether he's getting paid, to fight, and whether people still care. And they're going to still care to some degree. All right. Now, pains me to bring this up because I'm annoyed as hell by it. But Mike Perry, who's got a fight against Donald Cowboy Cerrone on November 10th, came out with this, I don't know, you want to call it a promo video or just plain stupidity on tape, I don't know, where he is dressed up as a so-called Native American warrior. I think he called himself the Platinum Warrior. And it's in Jackson Wink Gym, which I think is a point worth mentioning because somebody there let it go on. And he does some very things that I think people of Native American background and otherwise would feel offended by. And anybody with a working brain, should be offended by. This video came out. A lot of people are angry. We've seen stuff like this from Mike Perry before. Not to this extent, but we've seen him use the N-word a couple of times pretty freely. So, do you think the UFC is going to do something about this? Do you think he's already gotten a phone call from Dana White?
I hope so. I mean, anything less than at least a phone call. I mean, my God, that's so bad for business. I mean, you like the UFC is filled with multinational, multi-race fighters, and the audience is growing into that too. So I mean, and the gym to let him do that. What the hell?
Yeah, like, you got to think too, like I said, I was saying earlier today to Craig Allen, John Jones may not be of the most, more morally and ethically grounded character, but I guarantee you, if John Jones was in the gym, I don't think he would be probably letting that happen. Michelle Watterson, another Jackson Wink product. I bet you if Michelle Watterson was there, she would have stepped in and said something. Holly Holm, I'm sure too, probably wasn't too happy this came out, and I don't know these people personally, so I'm just, speculating, but that's what you would think based on their actions, what we've seen from those people. I'll make it real clear though. I don't think Mike Perry's a racist. I think he's an idiot. And he's just so oblivious to the world we live in that he thinks the environment where he's able to say these things to his friends of different races, different cultures, which I've seen before and experienced myself, he says he can do these things, and he thinks that it applies to everybody in the whole world. He doesn't want to bother to take the 5 seconds to realize with a platform he has, there's a responsibility that comes with this. He's got to be more aware of what he's talking about, and that he can't just spout off and say things like that, because it's not the world we live in. It's not right. This is a colorless, religiousess sport. You know what I mean? This is the most inclusive sport on the planet, and he needs to start acting like it. And you know, someone, how the hell does he not have somebody like a manager saying, "Hey, don't do this"? I mean, that's what I don't get.
Somebody should have slapped him upside the head and been like, "What the
Yeah,
hell are you thinking right now? This is
and let's
gotta
remember,
be."
they Jackson Lincoln, especially Mike Wicklejohn, backed Perry against the Cerrone to the point that Cerrone had to leave the gym. Okay, so
Yeah.
they put resources and money and support behind this guy, but they don't take the 5 seconds to say, "What are you doing? Knock that off," especially not in my gym. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Jackson and the crew. It's embarrassing for Mike Perry and anybody associated with him. And even more so on a bigger scale, it's embarrassing for the UFC and MMA. Terrible look.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you know, I don't think we live in in an era where Conor McGregor can throw a dolly through a window and get no punishment from the UFC internally. You know, we've Khabib hasn't been punished internally for jumping into the crowd, and I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't. That's beside the point. My point is that if they weren't punished for something, maybe we're thinking a little too highly of the UFC by expecting them to do something to Mike Perry for this stupidity. You know what I mean? I got a
Mhm.
feeling nothing's going to happen, and it's just going to escalate and whatever. You know,
You're probably right.
it's it's a shame, but you know, it's the world we live in right now. All right, on to more positive, noteworthy news. Ben Askren finally is now in the UFC, and I have never been a big Ben
Is he?
Askren fan. Yeah, that's the thing, right? They haven't really announced it since this so-called trade. Which, by the
That's
way,
it.
this wasn't a trade. They just mutually agreed to let Askren out of his one FC contract and Demetrius Johnson out of his UFC contract. So in theory, they could switch promotions. One FC is definitely pumped up the DJ signing, da 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 da. But we haven't heard word one from the UFC, not officially. And I saw Ben Askren today on Twitter saying, "Hey, how come you guys haven't announced anything?" Which is hilarious in itself. So let's just pretend that he is official in the UFC for argument's sake. Who does he fight first?
Wow. I mean, he's been calling out everybody on, anybody who he can get attention from, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wants GSP, he wants Khabib, he wants both Diaz brothers. I think I even saw him say something to Connor, maybe even something to Tony Ferguson. I don't know. I mean, okay. You want to give, no, like Dana doesn't like Ben. That's obvious, and everybody knows their history. Um, you know, does he set him up with some guy with real nice takedown defense and a killer stand up to embarrass him? Maybe, or does he make that fight with him and Khabib at 65 and we'll find out who the best MMA grappler is.
At
Um,
165 too, which is the most stupid. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. or
Whatever.
you know, as you know, I don't know what the right answer is as to who to fight. Um, but I'd like to see him fight somebody with a skill set, almost like what Robbie Lawler comes to the table with real good takedown defense and killer stand up. And
That's a
let's
hell
see
of
if
an
you're
idea.
UFC worthy.
That's a
Let's
hell
see
of
if
an
you're
idea.
UFC worthy. Yeah,
That's the thing, right? People are talking these big fights and the title shots. Da 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 da. Let's make him prove himself first in at least one or
sure.
two fights against top five or top 10 talent. This business of saying he deserves an automatic title shot is bullshit. He does not deserve an automatic title shot, not especially not in one of the UFC's deepest divisions. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
You got to Justin Gaethje this guy. You know, you absolutely have to Justin Gaethje this guy, and whether he sinks or swims, who knows? But you can't give him a title
Darren
shot.
Till wants a piece of him too.
That would, and to me, as far as I'm concerned, that would be a hell of a fight just because it intrigues me. However, I was
Yep.
thinking about this today. If Mike Perry beats Donald Cerrone, when Till beat Cerrone, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to fight Perry," and they yelled at each other through the cage like idiots or whatever. Okay, Till quickly realized that Perry kind of overshot, or Till kind of overshot Perry at that point. He was more successful, so Till had bigger fish to fry at that point. But if Perry beats Cerrone, then that fight, the Till Perry fight, becomes very real in my opinion. And I could see that UFC going down that
Yeah.
road because of the interest initially. So I don't know if Darren Till would line up against Askren early on. Also, Darren Till has been talking about going to middleweight exclusively now for a while, and then he just jumps back and whatever. What I don't want to see is a GSP type super fight. None of it. I want to see him fight somebody relevant, somebody in the top 5, somebody who's legitimately threatening for the 170-pound title, and not in a main event, unless it's a fight night main event, not a pay-per-view main event. Ben Askren is not UFC main event pay-per-view worthy right now.
How do you feel about him fighting with? How do you feel about him with like Nick or Nate?
Sure, just because I want to see whatever it takes to get either Diaz back in the octagon, I'm in. So, that would be great for the sport. It'd be great for, the media. It'd be great for everybody, the fans. It'd be great. Also, you can't say that it wouldn't be a good test for Askren to go up against Nick or Nate Diaz, right? I mean, they're both seasoned contenders. They know the ropes. So it would still be a good test, despite the fact that both Diaz brothers have been unbelievably inactive over the last whatever. So, I think it would still be, but I don't think Askren, no matter how he does in the first fight, should then get shot up the ladder if he does really well. I think he needs minimum 2 fights before we even consider entering him in the title conversation. I mean, it's just,
agreed.
Yeah. It's like the second these guys win belts, like Khabib, oh, we're gonna fight Floyd Mayweather. Oh, we're gonna fight this guy, super fight. What happened to just defending your belt and fighting the next guy in line, who's Tony Ferguson? I'm getting so tired of this.
Money, man, money became
Conor McGregor. Conor
McGregor,
right. And I love Conor McGregor. I'm just saying, without Conor McGregor, we wouldn't even be Khabib, Mayweather, whatever. All right. All right. What am I forgetting that we were supposed to talk about other than this? There was something else, wasn't there? I mean, there's lots of stuff, but there was something specifically I'm forgetting. There's got to be something. I know it. Oh, hang on. You know what? I'm going to be really resourceful here and just look at the preview that I wrote. That might be an idea. That might be an idea. See, when we have our own show like this, when we have our own show like this, we have this luxury where we can just ramble and ramble and ramble until we figure out what we're going to talk about next, and no one can do shit. Oh, Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. I want. How about Woodley Rogan?
Oh yeah. Oh God.
That's what it was. Woodley Rogan. Right. Sorry to our millions of fans out there. We skipped the all right. So Woodley Rogan. All right. Now, Woodley is upset with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan saying CM Punk was talentless, didn't belong in the UFC. Woodley is taking it saying something like, if he has smoke with CM Punk, he has smoke with me. Hilarious. I want to know what you think.
Well, I don't even know. Like, do you take him seriously, first of all? Like, I mean, I think he is serious, but like the way he's saying it's like, okay, come on. Everything Joe Rogan said was true. Dude, you trained with him. You got to know that. Like, I get it. He's your boy because you train with him and stuff. So maybe you feel like you got at least say it in private.
Yeah,
so you don't kind of look like I think he kind of looks stupid.
Woodley, I don't know. He's got his whole rap career going on right now, so he's turning a little bit more outwardly gangster. I guess he's trying to be. I don't know, but he seems to be using the whole. Everybody's got smoke these days. Everybody wants smoke. Everybody's got smoke. I'm going to give him smoke. So, whatever. But I do take him seriously because he seems to like to do stuff like that, to come out and just be like, out of the blue too. It's like the weirdest stuff. He'll be not even be involved in some sort of rivalry that's going on. Then he'll just come out and say, hey, enough of that. If you say this, I'm going to do this. And, it's like, now we don't hear from him again. So it makes no sense to me, but I definitely think serious. However, Joe Rogan, you say what you want about his comedy, his personal views, whatever. He is a qualified commentator, analyst, and what he says, he doesn't bullshit you. It's no secret that CM Punk was a laughing. It was a joke. I mean, it's an absolute joke.
You
cannot have people like that in the
UFC. Fighting in the biggest stage, the best fighters in the world. He had no business ever touching an octagon at all, let alone stepping foot in it.
And people say, oh, Brock Lesnar came over from wrestling. Brock Lesnar was a collegiate wrestling champion at NCAA Division I at a Big Ten school. Yeah. Big difference. CM Punk was not even an athlete in high school or college. You know what I mean? Phil Brooks, or whatever his name is, was Phil Brooks. No
background in anything. He had no background in any martial art.
Yeah. And I have no doubt that, okay, it takes talent to jump off the rope, take the beating he takes in professional wrestling. But you're like an half actor, half athlete. And he had no business being in there. I'm glad he lost. I'm glad he lost decisively. I wish he would have lost. Well, I wish they would have finished him his second fight instead of him going the distance, because that gave him some, validation is, oh, I belong because I didn't get finished, which is complete bullshit. But, whatever. We don't need things like that around. Now, do you think that the UFC is ever going to go down that road again, like, say, i.e. Logan Paul?
Well, you know what though? There's a big difference between Logan Paul. If you watched, did you see his boxing match that he had?
I
Dude
did.
can
I
fight.
did. Oh, yeah. No,
Dude
he's
can
not.
fight.
Yeah.
Apparently, he wrestled in high school too.
Yeah. Yeah. He can actually scrap. And that's what surprised a lot of people was that he can actually. He's looking his brother, apparently.
Yeah, man, he looks super comfortable boxing, super comfortable.
Absolutely.
And if he's
Absolutely.
if he's done wrestling in high school too, let me tell you right now. I read a really interesting thing on I think it was a week ago, and it was basically how I think it was Eddie Bravo actually. I was listening to the podcast now. Eddie Bravo was talking about how Bruce Lee said a guy who has boxed and wrestled for a year could beat a lifelong artist in a fight. If you know how to wrestle and you know how to box, you are a dangerous dude and you can compete. Um, so, dude, if he's got those skill sets, he's a much more viable option. And I could see the UFC going that route. But this Phil Brooks thing, what a disaster that was. Like, I mean, everybody knows about 50 or 100 guys in their hometown who could probably kick his ass. Like,
I
has
know,
been
I know
in the
you and I do.
UFC.
I know you and I know a few. I'm looking at one right now, but yeah, I mean, you would have whooped the crap out of him in about 3 seconds, and I can vouch that because I know you 23 years. You would have snapped Phil Brooks in half. So, and there's no doubt in my mind about that. And so whatever. I would have too probably back in the day. So I'm just saying, it is what it is. But you're right. We got to draw. This goes back to the Lobov thing, right? We got to draw a line here. This isn't a
Yes,
circus. This is
that's right.
elite top of the world, top tier MMA. It's no more one discipline versus one discipline. These are well-rounded, world-class athletes who are very dangerous, and we have
Mhm.
to drop and stop with this circus bullshit. Otherwise, we're never going to get back to where we were in the glory days with the belts meaning something. Got to get rid of these interim titles every 5 minutes, all that type of stuff. The belt's got to mean something. For the belts to mean something, the fights have to mean something. All of them, not just the title
That's
fights.
right.
So, all right, I'm done whining for the night. You feel we covered that the all the issues well tonight, or what? We did good, right? I
I
mean, it's
think
our
so, man. I think we kicked. I think we hit everything off, especially just coming back after like 2 or 3 weeks of being out. I think that's what's going on in MMA today, man.
and who else would you need to turn to find out what is going on in MMA? Which brings me to my final point. This week we are going to be back, and we are going to do a episode just on UFC 230. We haven't forgot about it. We just want to save, it for one special show because it's going to be special. Now, after that, we are going to go twice a week. We are going to stay on YouTube. We are going to be more consistent, and we appreciate everybody who tunes in after the fact. Now, we're not going to be doing many live stuff. It says this is live, but I don't think it is. And if it is live, it's only due to my own incompetence. It's not supposed to be live, so we'll be putting stuff out after. So don't look so much for our live stuff. We'll put it out on Twitter at Above the Full Time Twitter at DLoucks21, right? For
That's
you on
right.
Twitter. And you can always catch us on Facebook. But yes, we are here to stay. We are grateful for all of you who watch, and we have big things ahead. So thank you very much, Daren.
Thank you, brother.
And we will come back to you very soon with another episode of All Five Rounds.